These days, the quickest way to ruin your reputation is through scams, lies, and betrayal. And nobody in gaming has taken that path harder than FaZe Clan. But what nobody expected is that they did even worse than just a money scandal, because this time it involved minors. Rain went online and accused Temperrr of having a threesome with 2 underage girls. Temperrr denied it at first, but then admitted to half of it and turned it into his own story, which left fans confused on what to believe. But FaZe wasn't always this messy. At one point, members of FaZe were living every gamer's dream: celebrity collabs, massive mansions, record-breaking esport wins, even a Wall Street debut that had fans calling them the future of gaming. But behind all that flex, the cracks were already showing. Because first came the CSGO gambling disaster, then the crypto scams, then banks chasing shiny new controversies. The brotherhood started to break, and that's when it all came crashing down. Overnight, FaZe went from the dream squad every kid wanted to join to the toxic brand nobody wanted to be involved with.
Listen, I love my bros. There's about 9 of us. I still don't think we're going to be able to get this done. But let me know, do you think we're going to cook a good meal? Or do you think it's going to be trash? Let me know in the comments.
I'm kind of concerned what Alex is about to do with this.
Oh! That's 2. Keep running it. Send it. Oh! I love this.
And in the middle of it all, 4 names stood out more than anyone else. FaZe Rain, the loud one who always spoke his mind. FaZe Banks, the mastermind who handled the business and drama. FaZe Temperrr, an early face of the clan. And FaZe Apex, the quiet one who held things together. As a team, they seemed to be these big gaming legends. They went from parties in Hollywood to massive brand deals, even getting listed on the stock market. FaZe showed the world that gamers could be just as famous as rappers and athletes. But everything people loved about FaZe has now been buried under controversy after controversy. Because the bigger they got, the more cracks started to show. And in 2025, those cracks became a full collapse. This all started on the 14th of September when FaZe Rain finally went public with his accusations against FaZe Temperrr.
He said it wasn't a threesome with 2 16-year-olds. Actually, it was a 17-year-old. So all of a sudden now it's 17. Okay? One was 17 and the other one watched. That's what he said. And then he started bringing up all these random laws. I don't even know, these weird consent laws, like Romeo and Juliet, this, yada. I don't fucking know. I don't know what these laws are, bro. And he says some shit like that. And even Banks calls me after and he's like, bro, what the fuck is like up with that law shit that he brought up? So he knows he did some shit that was wrong. He knows that.
This shocked fans everywhere because Temperrr had been in the clan almost since the beginning. So they started to trust him. People got used to find Banks in business drama. And Rain had his wild moments as well.
He knows that. It's just, I don't like the denying of it. And I feel like in this video, you're trying to paint me like I'm lying and making shit up and just saying shit to say shit when you know that's not the truth, bro. And it's not fair because, you know, people try to hold that 2020 shit over me where I was just suicidal and trying to off myself. You act like I fucking sit there recreationally getting fucking high. I don't even like weed, bro.
Rain went all out with his attack. He claimed Temperrr had a threesome with 2 16-year-old girls. The idea that one of FaZe's OG members could be mixed up in something this dark made the internet explode.
The initial version of the story he told me was the true story. And then when he saw how I reacted to it, he realized he had to switch up the story and go back and look at consent laws to change everything. Just wait till I show you guys what the fuck I show you guys, bro. Holy fucking shit. And I have to find these girls and talk to them and try to get them on stream. The only witness that went to school with them, they're too afraid to talk. The guy that was there with Tommy, he's dealing with a lawsuit, so he's too afraid to talk. I'm going to get everybody to speak on this, but I first need to just show all the evidence and conversations I've had. Brother, this guy is a piece of fucking shit. And I'm so glad this shit came out because I don't feel bad at all no more, bro, because of the way that he tried to throw me under the bus for trying to expose a fucking pedophile, man. For me trying to do that, trying to throw me under the bus like I did something wrong, bro, is so fucking wrong.
At first, Temperrr denied everything. He said Rain was lying, trying to drag his name, and that none of it ever happened. But then things started to shift. Screenshots and recordings started leaking, and people noticed the story wasn't fading away. Instead, it got worse with each new piece of info.
I end up going back with these girls. We're all shit-faced, and I end up going back with these girls to my hotel room. I slept with one of them, and I found out after that this girl was 17. That's the age of consent.
Breaking point came when Temperrr admitted that some of Rain's story was true. He did sleep with an underage girl, but he said she was 17 instead of 16, and that it wasn't a threesome. His excuse was that he met her after a 21-plus club night in New York and thought she was older. He tried to spin it like he was misled, but once you admit part of the story, it's hard for people to believe the rest is fake. Then Banks came into the picture. During a private call between the members, Banks confirmed some of the details of what Rain had been saying. And because Banks had been Temperrr's business partner and brother for years, his words meant a lot. Fans felt like if Banks was backing Rain's claim, then there had to be truth to them. The drama played out live in front of millions. Rain wouldn't back down, and Temperrr was stuck trying to deny one part while admitting another. Apex was present during the group calls but didn't add much. He wasn't accused of anything, more like a witness to the chaos.
First thing I'm gonna say in this video is I'm not a pedophile. Rain is not talking about me. There, I got it out. Video over, peace out. No, this is definitely not funny. This is definitely not gonna be like a super lighthearted video. And yeah, I'm sitting in a hotel room right now in New York City. I left FaZe a month ago and quit the internet a month ago, and for whatever reason, I keep getting...
This scandal destroyed Temperrr's reputation overnight. He went from being one of the cleanest members to the guy being accused of being a pedo. Fans couldn't look at FaZe the same way anymore because this wasn't just money scandals or drama beefs. This was something way darker. This guy said, "FaZe has got to be the corniest group of guys. Literally from top to bottom. Grow up." Another guy said, "Man, everyone is wrong in this situation. Temperrr is wrong for having sex with a 16-year-old. Rain is wrong for handling this publicly instead of privately with the police. Banks is wrong for airing this out. Don't get me wrong, Temperrr is a effing weirdo and should face repercussions. But the fact that Rain thinks he's some sort of superhero because he chose to air this out publicly and cause innocent third parties, Temperrr's wife, Temperrr's son, new FaZe, etc., to face the damage of a crime they didn't do is also stupid." And because of how messy this was, it didn't just hurt Temperrr, it threw the whole FaZe brand into the fire again. But their downfall had already started years earlier. Because their biggest crack came during the CSGO gambling scandal. Between 2017 and 2019, FaZe members like Banks and Rain were linked to shady gambling websites.
A bit further.
And then years later, you know what I mean, I went and did my FaZe thing, and they were still doing well on the internet, and we kind of like reconnected. And around this time, Counter-Strike was kind of the game, and there were a lot of these like gambling websites with skins. Like I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but there's like a currency in Counter-Strike, and it's skins. There's a real market for it, and some of these skins, like a skin for like the sniper or like a knife or whatever, some of these go upwards of like $10,000 on the open market. Like people pay actual like $10,000 USD.
They promoted these sites in videos, making it seem like fans could win big by betting on skins. But behind the scenes, the games were rigged, and kids lost thousands of dollars because they trusted FaZe, making fans wonder how they got away with this. Why did they get away with this shit? They scammed their fans so hard, yet they all still have big followings with no recourse. Absolute joke. If you're a fan of FaZe, then how can you still like them after knowing they literally tried scamming you? Banks got hit the hardest because he was seen as the leader of FaZe's business side. Rain was also criticized because his name was tied to the videos. Temperrr and Apex weren't directly part of the deals, but being co-founders meant their reputation still took a hit. People saw FaZe as a group trying to profit off their own fans, even young ones. Media outlets that never cared about esports were now writing stories about how YouTubers scammed kids. Instead of being game changers, everybody started to see FaZe as this greedy company. This was the first time people saw the cracks behind the lifestyle. But this was only a beginning, because in 2019, FaZe stepped into another storm, this time involving one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. Because FaZe Banks found himself in a fight that had nothing to do with gaming. He was accused of assaulting a member of Jake Paul's Team 10 crew during a night out at a club.
Assaulting his assistant, Meg.
Meg,
was assaulted by a man last night who is in the same like community and space as us, and it's not like, if you guys see, like, she literally has a bruise. I don't know if you can see on camera, like here, not to be like dramatic, but like she literally has a bruise on the side of the whole entire neck.
Jake Paul immediately turned it into a messy internet war, blasting Banks online and dragging FaZe into one of the biggest YouTube beefs of the time.
No, seriously. What's going on? I don't know, like, what are you coming down on?
The story spread everywhere. Jake Paul posted videos. Team 10 pushed their side and Banks fired back with his own explanations. Millions of people who didn't even follow FaZe now knew about them. Not because of gaming, but because of nightclub drama.
First, I want to come out and say 99% of what this kid said in his video was absolutely fabricated and not true. I am going to be 100.
FaZe Banks denied it, but it still did damage to the FaZe brand again. They were supposed to be esports kings and gaming influencers, but now the headlines were about fights and violence. Sponsors don't like being tied to that kind of mess, and fans started to see FaZe less like professional gamers and more like celebrities chasing drama. But this wasn't even the lowest they were going to get, because just 2 years later, FaZe would be linked to one of the most infamous crypto scams in internet history. In 2021, FaZe got caught up in the Save the Kids crypto mess. Members like Kay, Jarvis, Nikon, and Tico all promoted it, acting like it was this charity project that would help children. But behind the scenes, it was a pump and dump scam, as Business Insider reported. The clan hyped it up, the price shot up, and then it all crashed, leaving fans and kids who invested completely broke. But this drama didn't just stay on YouTube. News outlets everywhere covered the story, calling it out as one of the biggest crypto scams tied to influencers. The fact that kids were the main victims made it even worse. Parents who trusted FaZe members now saw their children lose money to a scheme pushed by the people they looked up to. The backlash was insane. This is what people said. FaZe got more scams under their belt than any other YouTuber, it feels like. The younger the audience, the more vulnerable. Kay was kicked out of FaZe. Jarvis and the others got suspended. We have made the decision to remove Kay from FaZe Clan and have suspended Jarvis, Nikon, and Tico until further notice. FaZe Clan had absolutely no involvement with our members' activity in the cryptocurrency space, and we strongly condemn their recent behavior. The trust and respect of our fans has been and will always be our #1 priority. But the damage was already done. Even though the main faces like Rain, Temperrr, and Apex had nothing to do with it, for people, FaZe was a scam. This scandal hit different. It wasn't just a dumb mistake anymore. People started seeing FaZe as greedy and careless. Brands and sponsors started pulling back again because no company wanted to be linked to a scam that took money from kids. And without those sponsorships, FaZe's empire started to come falling down. But instead of learning from this and staying away from shady projects, Banks got caught in another coin just a few years later. And because of that, FaZe's downfall spiraled even further. In the beginning of this year, Banks teamed up with Aiden Ross to push something new called MLG Coin. They hyped it up heavily, saying it would be the next big thing for gamers. Fans thought maybe this was FaZe's shot at rebuilding trust after the Save the Kids mess. But it didn't take long before history repeated itself.
I mean, I saw a lot what Banks said. I saw the way he's going about defending himself. But one thing I haven't seen him say is if those DMs are real or not, what he said in the chat. It seems like he's kind of dancing around that topic. It's just, bro, like we all make mistakes, but it's all about taking accountability for a lot of stuff, right? It's like, hey, bro, like I said that my fault. I was wrong. I threw you under the bus when, you know, I should take blame for that. I made that stream happen. Bro, I genuinely couldn't believe it when I saw that message, especially like the way it was worded. When I read that shit at the end saying there's only one bad actor in this and it's Aiden, I was like, what the like that was a crazy thing to read.
The coin collapsed almost immediately. People who bought in because they trusted Banks and Aiden watched their money disappear. Banks just couldn't seem to stay away from controversy, especially when it came to crypto. Every time he got involved, people ended up losing money, and people started questioning his business leader reputation.
Then shamelessly blaming it on him.
Why am I down money?
Because people are using you to sell. People are using your buy as like a spot to sell.
I'm down 12 grand.
It's a go up. People have been expecting this moment all day. Again, we're so a lot of people bought MLG probably today, expecting you were going to buy it and using the event if you're buying it to sell it. But it's fine. Again,
This is something that we're all positioned in for good reasons. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about a position like
The MLG coin disaster made it seem impossible for FaZe to claim they were just unlucky. It looked like greed was part of their DNA. And because this happened so close to the new scandal with Temperrr, the timing couldn't have been worse. But the worst part is that the scandals keep getting darker, and the legends fans once called heroes were turning into the villains of their own story. Because the stock market move that was supposed to crown FaZe as the future of gaming ended up dragging them down even further. It started in July 2022 when FaZe went public through a SPAC deal. On paper, it looked insane. They launched with a $725 million valuation, fireworks on NASDAQ, and bold claims that they'd make $651 million in revenue by 2025. They bragged about bringing in $40 million from Jimmy Levine, adding Snoop Dogg to the board for Accusations, and selling NFTs for the metaverse. It felt like FaZe was finally about to become bigger than gaming itself. But behind the scenes, the numbers told a different story. In their Q3 filings, FaZe showed a $53 million net loss, with operations burning $59 million. Investors ran away. The stock crashed from $23 all the way down to just 14 cents. That hype about being a billion-dollar company disappeared in less than a year. The chaos inside was just as bad. CEO Lee Trink and execs like Zach Katz and Amit Bajaj were making shady calls, even secretly signing $100,000 to Aiden Ross. Employees were leaking everything, like how layoffs got scheduled on public calendars before people were even told. In May 2023, 40% of staff were cut. Merch dropped too, tanking from $5.9 million to $3.5 million after what insiders called the shittiest deal with network. Meanwhile, the faces that really built FaZe into a brand, Rain, Banks, Temperrr, and Apex, were pushed to the side. Rain went on Twitter in 2023 saying, "I don't know what all these corporate fucks think they're doing, weighing options, plotting, doing whatever the fuck it is they've been doing. But the answer is very simple. Give us our brand back. You stole it in the first place. It goes to zero otherwise. You have no idea what FaZe is." It wasn't even a joke. They had no control, while executives who didn't care about gaming used FaZe like a piggy bank. The scandals stacked up. Tfu's lawsuit from 2019 still haunted them, showing how FaZe tried to trap talent with contracts taking 49 to 79% cuts. New controversies kept blowing up too, like when FaZe dragged their feet, responding to Myers Leonard's anti-Semitic livestream. Inside the company, things got ugly as well. The OG members wanted to bring back the fun, but the business guys only cared about money. Patterson even said no big brand would work with them now. But then came Banks' so-called victory lap in 2024. He was back as CEO and teasing a big comeback. From the outside, it looked like FaZe was finally getting back on track. But this comeback just covered up bigger problems. It pushed out legends and split the fan base in half. But the truth is, FaZe was already bleeding out. The SPAC deal had been a trap from the start. And instead of saving FaZe, the comeback killed whatever family vibe was left. It wasn't just about numbers anymore. People started to get wrecked too. Especially Rain started to feel betrayed. He had been one of the most raw and honest voices from the start. He wasn't scared to talk about addiction, mental health, and how fame nearly destroyed him. Fans respected him for being open, but they also saw how much he suffered. He's admitted to feeling stabbed in the back, saying he brought deals and money into FaZe, yet he was left drowning in IRS debt and hospital bills while others ate off his work. Banks was always the wild card. He had the vision to make FaZe bigger than gaming, but he couldn't resist risky moves. From shady gambling sites to crypto coins, he always seemed to chase fast money instead of stability. He used the FaZe name for projects like Breath Death NFTs without approval, ran off with logos, and left the other members wondering where the money went. Temperrr was supposed to be the clean one, the original founder with no stains, but his reputation was already cooked after Reigns exposed him. Fans who once looked up to him now saw someone they couldn't respect anymore. Apex used to be the heart of FaZe, the short one, the calm one, the guy who kept the brotherhood balanced. But now his silence looks bad. He was in the calls when scandals got revealed. He saw the slurs, the scams, the chaos, but rarely spoke up. Fans wonder if staying quiet makes him guilty by association. Rain kept receipts too. He said he made more than everyone combined in New York, brought brand deals, but got nothing back. Screenshots showed texts where he begged for help with scams and got ignored. For him, the money betrayal cut just as deeply as the scandals. Banks' shadow got bigger every year. The Antigua CSGO house, the NFT launches, even breath death. He played the business game, but always in ways that made the others feel betrayed. But this altogether is what eventually destroyed the family bond. Drink hyped that one day FaZe's legacy would be written in books, but he never expected that the only way they'll write about FaZe is about the scandals. They kept picking brand deals over esports, but without mainstream appeal, those deals dried up. Insiders like Woods said only gaming brands would even look at them now. The magic was done, just like the big sponsors. Rain finally realized there was nothing left to cover up. He said it himself. Why cover for snakes who don't care if I live? This landed hard because it made fans think of the 2024 comeback. Banks took control again, socials went black, and the roster got cut down to just 14 members. Even legends like Blaze and Clips were kicked out. The new names like Jason the Ween, Blackboy Max, Lacey, Stable Ronaldo, Silky pulled millions of views, but they weren't FaZe to the old fans. To them, it felt like strangers had stolen the brand. Social media blew up, but not in a good way. People started calling it a clown show. Drama inside the new house made things worse. Members pranked each other to the point of property damage, and clips went viral on X, making FaZe look like a circus. Nick Merckx left quietly, then Blackboy Max followed soon after. But while the house was falling apart, Banks was doubling down on his commitment to the brand. He got a FaZe Forever tattoo, but leaks showed him edging out even the co-founders. Clips ranted about how Banks stole the FaZe name behind his back. Apex stayed, trying to mediate, but even he admitted things were lost. The reboot had a flash of success. By July 2024, they were pulling 350 million impressions and 62% positive sentiment. For over a year, it seemed like the new era might actually work. But now that the pedo scandal around Temperrr exploded, all that momentum died overnight. But before the pedo scandal, FaZe got another lifeline when GameSquare stepped in with a $16 million stock deal. While just 2 years earlier, FaZe had been hyped as a $700 million company. That falloff was insane. Esports flopped, their Overwatch and other league buys never paid off, and the scandals just kept eating away at them. Because what really killed FaZe wasn't just business mistakes, but even worse is that the founders who started as brothers ended up backstabbing each other. The kids who once copied FaZe trick shots on Xbox are now adults, watching the legends who inspired them tear each other apart in public. Now, if you thought FaZe, their scandal, were bad, you sure don't want to miss out on Kai Cenat's downfall, because that one is way worse. Make sure to check that one out, and I will see you in the next one.